One Conservative member of the Parliament's National Defence Committee says any further talks will founder on the same issue.
They will talk, but they cannot find any point or any space or any area of cooperation or agreement.
There is another view that North Korea is becoming increasingly desperate for a resumption of aid, and that its sheer willingness for talks in the first place signals a potential appetite for compromise. But in 2 days of discussions this week, compromise was as elusive as ever. Harry Fawcett, Al Jazeera, Seoul.
In Sri Lanka, hundreds of supporters of the country's main opposition party have taken to the streets, and some of them demonstrating about high food prices, but many trying to secure the release of their jailed leader, Sarath Fonseca. Minel Fernandez has the latest from Colombo.
Hundreds of people have turned up for this protest demonstration organized by the main opposition United National Party in Colombo. The opposition is protesting the leadership of current President Mahinda Rajapaksa, as well as urging for the release of former army commander Sarath Fonseca. As you can see behind me, a number of people dressed as prison inmates urging this release of the former army chief. Another reason that people have come out today is to protest against media suppression. What they say is murders and abductions in the north, the escalating price of living. As you can see, we've got goods which are displayed here, vegetables and commodities which have really shot up in price. Minel Fernandez, Al Jazeera, Colombo.
We've got Italian football with Sonar in just a moment. The two top scorers in La Liga getting ready to take their rivalry to an international level. And getting his feet wet, how one of the world's top golfers is aiming to slip slide back to victory in Dubai.
Business Latest is brought to you by Qatar Gas, delivering energy to the world. Business Latest is brought to you by Qatar Gas, delivering energy to the world.
As Washington's allies stumble, one after the other, exposed, losing control and influence, powerless in the face of the people's power, we ask, is this the dawn of a new Middle East? Empire at this time on Al Jazeera.
Look at the picture of that golfer slip sliding down Wild Wadi. I want to know who it is because I didn't recognise him. Tell me after the football.
You didn't recognise him when he's wet?
Nope.
Okay, I'll tell you later. In just over an hour, too, the biggest names in the game are set to finally meet on the international stage. Lionel Messi will face Cristiano Ronaldo for the first time in their national colours as Argentina play Portugal in a friendly. The two are long-standing club rivals in the Champions League, and in Spain, both are locked at the top of the Spanish Primera División scoring table with 24 goals each. But the forwards have never faced each other on national duty because it's the first time the two sides have met in nearly 40 years. The game is being played in Geneva and is expected to be televised in at least 85 countries. Well, champion Spain will be looking to end the three-game winless streak in friendlies when they take on Colombia a little later. The Spaniards, who are also the European champions, lost 4-1 to Argentina and 4-0 to Portugal 2 months later. Despite their losses, Spain remain top of FIFA's rankings as compared to Colombia, who are 50th. Their coach, though, is blaming club commitments for the poor results.
Well, I think the only blemish has been our last game against Portugal. In the rest, I think, including the game against Argentina, there were signs of a good performance. Perhaps the Portugal game came upon us at a moment in the season when the clubs, the intensity of competition affected the players a little.
Two former World Cup champions are getting ready to face each other in a friendly. France take on Brazil at the Stade de France in Paris. The two teams will meet for the repeat of 1998 World Cup final, where France beat the Samba boys 3-0. New Brazil coach Mano Menezes has promised a return to traditional attacking values following their latest 1-0 loss to Argentina in Qatar. The squad, though, will be without Real Madrid star Kaká, who's still recovering from injury, but the coach is confident his side will get a positive result. 2018 World Cup host Russia have lost their second consecutive friendly match. They were beaten 1-0 by Iran in Dubai. After a goalless first half, the Iranian side finally broke the deadlock. Mohammad Reza Khatabari scored the only goal of the match in the final minute. And there are some of the selected friendlies on Wednesday. Serbia are up against Israel and they're leading by 1 goal. Later on, England will face Denmark in Copenhagen. Germany go up against Italy. Joachim Löw's side, who finished third in the last World Cup, will want to shine against the team that deprived them of the 2006 World Cup final on home soil in their most recent meeting. Liverpool Football Club is back in the courts with their former American owners claiming $1.6 billion in damages after being forced to sell the Premier League club. Tom Hicks and George Gillette are pursuing the huge sum for what they called a giant swindle. A High Court judge is set to decide on whether they can sue the Royal Bank of Scotland and 3 former directors who approved the sale in October against Gillette and Hicks as well. The case in London comes as Liverpool's fortunes on the field have been revived. They're up to 6 in the table. Well, golf's world number 3 Tiger Woods is looking forward to playing alongside the top 2 players Lee Westwood and Martin Kaymer in the first round of the Dubai Desert Classic. The 14 major winner is hoping to win his 3rd title in Dubai. Westwood took over world number 1 last year, while Kaymer's win in Abu Dhabi displaced Woods from the world number 2 spot. Woods has gone 14 months without a victory and knows he must start winning consistently again before he can think of returning to the top of the rankings.
If I'm in the event, it's to win. That's just plain and simple. I don't always win. I've certainly lost a lot more tournaments than I've won, but you know, it's the goal every week we tee it up, and that doesn't change.
And if you can guess who that is, it's Rory McIlroy. Now he's looking for a repeat of his victory in 2009. The Northern Irishman won his first European Tour title in Dubai 2 seasons ago. This time he's had a relaxed build-up to the tournament and is hoping to slide back into the swing of things.
You know, I can remember coming out here when I was 16 and playing in the tournament. I was lucky enough to get an invite, and things have really come on since there. So yeah, I sort of do treat this as a home event because I have played it more times than any other tournament on tour. You know, it's a very impressive field. The top 3 players in the world are here, and you know, if you can win this week, you know that your game's, you know, definitely on the right track and you're in great shape going into the season.
Sri Lankan cricketer Muralitharan says he wants to bow out of international cricket on a high at the 2011 World Cup. Murli is the top wicket taker in the sport, having claimed his 800th Test cup against India in July last year. The 38-year-old will play for the last time for his country at the Cricket World Cup, which begins in 10 days' time.
You can't say better, because once you win a World Cup, how can you say we prepared better than this? And if you go and lose, then you'll say I'm a liar. Okay. That's what you're going to say, because we tried hard, whatever we could prepare, and we have done it.
That's it for me.
Stay with us here on Al Jazeera. Adrian Finnegan is up next. Thanks very much for watching. Bye.
As the fog hangs warily over London, we can always offer you the perfect pick-me-up.
Very cold weather to come across a good part of North America. This wintry plunge is set to persist. We've got snow now making its way away from the central and southern plains. That will sweep its way through quite quickly, actually, as we go on through the course of Thursday. So brighter skies coming in behind, but boy, is it going to be cold. -4, a top temperature for New York, and -12 there for Ottawa. Struggling around freezing for DC, and we're looking at highs of just 9 degrees in Atlanta. About the only warmth I can offer you really is going to be down towards that southeastern corner, 26 there in Miami. Even Dallas will struggle to reach freezing. -2 could be the top temperature here on Thursday then. Some warmth too into the western side of the US, and notice some snow coming into BC, so western parts of Canada still staying very wintry once again. That snow pushing in over the higher ground. Come down into the Caribbean, and there's quite a rash of showers here. Some wetter weather just making its way across the Gulf of Mexico. Not too bad for the Greater Antilles, and even the Lesser Antilles I think should stay largely dry, but down towards the south, Trinidad and Tobago, maybe pushing as far north as Barbados, could see 1 or 2 sharp showers. Showers or longer spells of rain continue to drive their way into that western side of Europe, but on a southwesterly wind, it's mild. Temperatures getting up to around 12 degrees Celsius, but cold on the other side of Europe, with Moscow at -13 degrees.
Qatar Airways, world's 5-star airline.
From local traders to international finance, it's commerce that makes the world go round. For global companies and developing markets, communication is the currency, and information is the most valuable commodity. Counting the cost at this time on Al Jazeera.
It's the right ingredients, and just the right amount. It's 729 layers, and several well-spent hours. It's when 1 degree too high is too high. 1 minute too long is just too long. And then you remember, this is just the appetizer. A 5-star menu on board Qatar Airways. Qatar Airways, world's 5-star airline.
Protesters defiant, workers on strike. The calls against the government grow in Egypt. Hello there, live from Doha. This is Al Jazeera. I'm Adrian Finnegan. Well, those